Hello everybody and welcome back to Forever and Ever, the Kelly Fans podcast. It's season 4, episode number 28, coming to you from Limelight Studios. My name's Paul Montgomery and I'm joined in the studio by my colleague, partner and co-host Callum Michael Scott. Hello Callum.
Hello Paul.
Alright mate.
First time I've called you Paul in history, I think.
Ever?
Aye. A few folk call you that and I just always think it's dead weird because you've only ever been Monty to me and only ever will be.
It's weird, I've noticed as I've got older, some people will call me Paul but refer to me as Monty.
Right.
It even happens in front of me. Gav does it, Gavin Lindsay does it.
Oh, does he?
He just calls me Paul. But see if I think if you'd maybe like on the phone, oh no, I'm just at my Monty.
That's a strange one, isn't it? Aye, no, I've only ever called you by your nickname.
My nickname?
You used to go by Boy Day as well.
Aye, that was your brother's doing.
Aye.
And he still calls me that too. But he's the only one. But aye, alright, so loads to talk about. Obviously we're now 16 without a win. 107 days I think today is.
You've got the timer or the countdown.
The countdown, aye.
Full day for the holidays and all that.
That's it with the Kilmarnock FC first team, men's team, winning a game. Thankfully the age group team still seem to be able to win. Certainly the ladies are winning. But obviously the main focus, it's just no good. It's just no good. But we'll talk about the game on Saturday. You obviously never made it. You were away living it up in the Premier League in England, weren't you?
Aye, well I'm now converted.
That's
full
you.
on.
Tell us about it.
I'm sick and tired of Kelly, and it sounds like I didn't miss anything at the weekend, and you can evidently take the lead with that. But no, I had a brilliant weekend down in Sunderland and South Shields, which is equidistant between Newcastle and Sunderland, if I'm right in saying so.
Right.
That's where Mike Dead stays. So no, we're done for that. Go to the football, go to see a good game. I'm not, as I've said before, I'm not too keen on any football out with Kelly, to be honest, anymore. But particularly English football. But I actually enjoyed it. Good day. Good overall kind of match day experience, which is night and day to Scotland. And I'm usually one that, well, I'll talk up the game as much as I can up here, and particularly like the fans and all that. But the fans down Sunderland were like proper football fans. It wasn't like touristy. I mean, we were the tourists there, you know what I mean? So it tells you everything you need to know.
But you had a good time, and we managed like a couple of pints yesterday as well, didn't we?
We did, aye.
With our dear friend Flecky, and then I had a couple of beers on Saturday as well with Stevie Donachie, which was phenomenal, and Stevie Robson, which was lovely too. So I actually had a nice weekend, mate. My wife recently opened up her new clinic as well, MW Skin Studio. I actually don't know what it's called.
Oh, well, she'll be on your case for that, man.
I need to get this
next
right.
week we'll get it. No, it'll be up there instead.
Hold on.
Up on the screen. But
I'm actually so sorry because I've really helped a lot with that studio, man. You know, I'm big part of it.
The foundations, they setting it up.
One of the founding fathers. It's MW Skin Studio. Sorry, Mel.
Did you not say that?
Is that what I said first
I
time
think
around?
so,
Aye. Anyway, right, man. So we'll talk about Dundee on Saturday. We've got Motherwell away this week. There's obviously signings, comings and goings. Stuff. Talk about a new goalkeeper. Your tattoo's popping it.
Was it?
Aye, people can see it. Scott Boyd tattoo. We'll talk about that. We've got questions both on the X and from the KellyFC.com forums. We've taken some guidance for the people who are getting fed up with X and all the bullshit that comes with it. So we're now putting out a rallying call on the forums as well.
Well, see, the thing is, initially when I first led with the call for questions, I was going to go across all platforms, but I wasn't sure if it was overkill
To collate it.
and I just left it. But we've now surrendered to the woke brigade that are too fear to go on Twitter.
Aye, that's it, man.
And instead, so we'll put the call out in the KLFC.com forums every week.
And obviously, just before we get down to business, tremendous effort last week for our new friend Scott, who did a hell of a job. Unanimously positive feedback for the man himself, so it was great, wasn't it, to have another new face on the poddy?
Absolutely is, man. We're going through plenty punters now, man, that are coming on.
It's all part of the phasing us out process. It's getting the people used to new faces, new voices, so that in 18 months mean you can disappear into the distance and fully Sunderland.
It's the long term plan now anyway. Well, I'm worried for what happens in 6 months time when Kilmarnock can ever get relegated and whether there's an appetite for us to preview games at Arbroath, etc. So we'll just need to wait and see.
Right, so Saturday against Dundee in the Cup, we talked about it last week. We obviously get beat 2-1. A late goal that put us out of misery. Essentially, it was obviously a bad mistake, a combo between Robbie Dees and the goalkeeper, the new goalkeeper Kella Rouse, to get his proper Dutch pronunciation.
Is that? Oh, Stevie Donachie would tell you that.
Bit of clanger there. I know that it mattered very much in the end. 2 guys sent off. I didn't know that to the day.
Aye, because
Mail gets sent
off later on.
Aye, see, I was obviously ready with the gun.
Well, you said, well, no, only you left.
Aye, well, I've never seen such a mass exodus of people all stand up at the one time and leave. Like, it was like the final whistle went. Kind of everybody just go, right, I'll do. As soon as that goal went in, just everybody up and away. I was up the back of the east stand.
Oh, you're in the east stand?
I was in the east stand, and I actually enjoyed it. I think that was part of my enjoyment. I actually enjoyed the day. I quite liked watching Dundee. I thought they were good to watch. Some really good players.
Are they as good as Tromso?
No quite at that standard, but they were entertaining. The left side of the midfielder was very good. Centre half was a good guy called Graham. I think Portsmouth. Luke Graham's that. Is he the captain?
Could be.
But anyway, 2 or 3 really good players. But Kelly were absolutely shit, man. Like really bad. Like no redeeming features in that team whatsoever. Very difficult to come on here and be positive after that and the run we're on. Just very, very poor, mate. You've obviously only seen the highlights. Brilliant goal for Thompson, even though I made an arse of myself on the forums because I thought.
You actually lived there about that?
Aye, so I was over a bit of a rant. Anyways, I'm sure plenty of people listening were on Saturday night into Sunday. Just getting a bit hot-headed, and I kept seeing folk being like, what a finish for Thompson. But I thought that it hit the post and hit a defender and went in. So when they announced, goal for Kilmarnock, I'm going, that'll get taken off him, it'll be an own goal. And then I put it on the forums and I'm like, why is everybody praising this guy, man? He never even scored, man. He hit the post. Then somebody replied being like, what? Then I watched it back on Sunday morning and I was like, I know, a good goal.
You humble pie, but you went back on.
I take it.
Whereas in today's world, some folk would even clearly seen the evidence that they were wrong, would still die on that hill.
Don't back down, double down. Brilliant goal, beautiful goal, and fair play to him to it. But aye, mate, so what's your... I mean, do you want to talk about it or do you want to talk about something else?
Well, there's plenty of things that I could easily talk about.
There is.
Outweigh, but my initial reaction was when I saw the team come out, I was a bit concerned because when you're looking at particularly those wides again, because we don't have any wingers, Thompson and what I perceived to be Brad Lyons playing right mid, but I don't think that was the case. Was it kind of lopsided, or?
Aye. I don't know. I thought, aye. Well, I don't know.
Aye. So that was my initial reaction, because I'm like, well, it's not a lot of kind of attacking impetus for there, given you've got a guy that argues a better kind of right back and a guy that's supposed to be a left back playing as your left and right midfielders. But again, when I saw we went up 1-0, I was like, right, excellent. And you were texting me during the game, and your reactions at times, you're like, I'm not even exaggerating, mate. It's like we're playing 2-3 divisions above us, and I know what you can be partial to being like.
I can be dramatic, mate.
Aye.
I can go over the score.
And I was a bit like, aye, alright, can I take it with a pinch of salt? Can I joke with Matthew? And then the next thing, you're like, oh my God, wait till you see this second goal. Like, it's horrendous. And then later on that night when I read the forums, everybody was kind of singing off the same hymn sheet as you, so sorry for doubting you on that.
Listen, no, I know what I'm like. I can dress things up slightly one way or another. I'm a fan of the drama. So, but I mean, I thought we were awful, like just awful.
Well, Steve O'Donoghue say it's one of the worst he's ever seen. As in, because again, result wise, isn't it? It can happen. Going over all ground here, we've said this there seems to be like our war cry for the last year. Like, kind of nothing wrong with us getting bait for it can happen, but just in regards to how tepid the performance was.
Aye, pound for pound, it's the worst I've. It's so hard to say because recency bias is everything in it. Mm-hmm. But pound for pound, it's as bad as I can remember. Just in terms of who you're playing against, a team that really, really you should be at least eachy peachy with, who have a very similar budget, who don't have any standout players or what you would describe as a standout manager, and to just surrender possession every time you get it, to no create a chance, to have no power, pace, no like big huge wide open gaps between your fullbacks and your centre halves, just like mega basic stuff. And then even and the biggest worry for me is your better players, guys like Mayo who've been good players for Kelly and Watson, miles off it again, like so far off it. Really hard not to be despondent, man. And my big worry now is two things. We've got this run of fixtures coming up now, and it's the good teams that are now coming back. We've had where we go there at the teams that we should be picking up points and beating. The Livingstons, maybe St Mirren, who are struggling a bit. Played Dundee a couple of times. Falkirk, I know they're doing well, but Kelly should be getting points off Falkirk, in my opinion. And now you're rolling back into your Motherwells and your Rangerses, and I don't know. Short of 5 players coming in, which might happen, I just don't know how we get any more than maybe 20 odd points, because it's like, where is it coming from? What is it, 3 draws in 16 games?
Aye.
And then 13 defeats, something like that. And against a team who again, man, see if that's Hibs, Hearts, Aberdeen, Celtic, Rangers, obviously, can kind of take it, I think. But no against Dundee at home. To be that powder puff and to have absolutely no redeeming features whatsoever, it's really grim. It's really, really grim.
Aye, and again, it's the risky. We'll probably come on to it with some of the questions, because I think a lot of folk will be feeling the same, and one of the big things is where's the next one got to come from. But I'm just like, and again, I think that our fate's sealed, to be honest. I'm just like, I don't see any way out of this. And this is what's really frustrating for me, is because these hang in like circumstances, like at the end of the season when you look back will change, but like the likes of, I don't blame McCann for any of this at all. I mean, he's only been in the door 10 days, no really been backed yet, to be honest. But we've signed a goalie like that's get prone to a few clangers in him.
Aye.
We're desperately needing wide players, attacking threat, or an experienced centre half to lead, and we've not got any of that yet. You're right though, it could come, but as we're recording the day on the 18th of January, we're still 3-4 minimum players short. And because of that, we've had a run of kind of so-called winnable games there, games that you should at least be competing in and picking up points, and we're just not doing it. We've been outplayed, and I really, really fear the worst, and I just don't see in what world that we avoid the bottom two places.
I agree. I don't think that's been pessimistic. I just can't. And you made a great point yesterday. If you're a fan of another team looking in on Kelly, the signs are there. You're like, God, man, Kelly are going down because of like the appointment in the summer you make, the signings you make, the stuff with Thompson and the crowd, the replacement that you probably get in, the lack of money. You're just looking at it, and the writing does feel like it's on the wall. I don't know how to be positive. I just can't see. I think we've done all that like 6-7 weeks ago. We were like, oh well, if I personally believe this might be controversial, I think we're worse now than we were under Kettlewell, which I'm hoping is we need to get worse to get better, and in 4 weeks' time we've had a blank slate and we're seeing something, and we maybe have a run at it and manage to at least challenge to finish 10th. But I honestly believe, having watched Livingston and then sat, I'm like, I think that's the worst we've been.
Well, it's such a interesting one, because I completely agree with you. I thought that even in the early stages under Dillon, again, I'm not putting that at his door, but I was expecting to see a hell of a bigger lift out of everything, and the same with McCann, and it's just not happening. Obviously, the glaring the key point there is the squad that we've got. You know what I mean? And that is the big problem and the main component of why we're not performing. But I'm always one, you look at probability, but I'm now feeling the worst. I'm like, I don't see where we win for Ken, whereas MD else looking at us like, well, they're due to win again soon.
They'll get one.
Whereas I'm just like, nah, no after that. And we go to Motherwell on Saturday, who are flying, and again, that's maybe the one where you can go, and if they have an off day, you maybe go and pick up a point there or whatever. But even that's no good enough.
Nah,
we need to start winning games, and we'll undoubtedly break that record, because we're not winning the next two games, because it was been misreported for a while there that we were on the worst losing streak.
Right,
but
okay,
it's Kelly Chronicle done a really good piece that went back to the 81 or whatever it was, and it was 18 games.
Right.
I think, or was it we get to 18 games? Because it's 16 now, isn't it?
16,
aye. So the next two games,
dear me, man. But listen, the bottom line is, and I've already spoke to folk, I've already seen folk talking about it, that they've already got their tickets, are going up to Motherwell. We'll have a healthy crowd up there where I was day. But the sad state of affairs is this: Motherwell, who we've spoke about for years on this podcast as your the team that you can challenge in terms of your league positions, your cup runs, they're the ones that you compare yourself to. I think McKillie and Motherwell, right? That's the two that I was thinking neck and neck. You're hoping at Fir Park, maybe they get a man sent off early on, maybe we get a dodgy VAR thing, maybe somebody has the game of their life, and you come away and it's almost get the feeling you got to Parkhead or something.
Yeah.
And to be going to Fir Park with that as a Kilmarnock supporter is gutting, man. It's really, really shite, because we don't ask for much. Like we don't. Maybe some folk will disagree with that and think we're being a wee bit entitled. I've seen some folk saying that, but it's bleak, mate. It's really, really grim, and it's a big ask on Saturday to get anything for a good Motherwell team.
The thing is, and we've spoken before about like narratives in football and all that, like beforehand, and still didn't play into our hands when we were talking about McInnes coming back and thinking, that'll be a good telltale sign that we'll pick something up. But I'm just like, over the last, my entire lifetime and the bulk of your lifetime supporting Kelly, things have been alright. Again, we've had some really grim lows, but we've spent one season at the top flight my entire life. But I'm just like, it seems like it's maybe our turn to go and and I heard comments before like the daft thing, like I think Ian McCall tried to say an open goal the other week that Dunfermline were a bigger club than Kelly, and I was like, they should, like, when you strip back to the 60s, you're like, they should beat Peachy, but in what world they're a bigger club is just incorrect. Like, playing the top flight more, playing Europe more, won more trophies, you know, what else is there to compare it to? But they are somebody that probably should be where we are, but the fact of the matter is they're not. But I just think that is it our time to spend a bit in the wilderness like we did through that period in the 80s into the late to early 90s there as well. So late 80s to early 90s, of course, but I just have a feeling that could be it. And like say Falkirk now riding in the crest of a wave.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was and see before though it's obviously changed because of the form they're in, but I was like no look at St Mirren. Like St Mirren, most of my time growing up, they weren't even in the league. You know what I mean? And now they've had their spell, they've won 2 cups in the last 12-13 years. They've played in Europe, they've finished in the top 6 more than us now. And like they look like they're flying. Well, they looked like they were flying.
I think you're capturing this here actually, and it was the weirdest atmosphere in the Grun. A real area acceptance of where we are, and I wonder, it feels different this time. See, obviously the season we went doing, it's dead hard to compare because of everything that was going on in the world, so you can't really compare it. But there's like no life about us, and there does feel like an acceptance now, and it does feel like, because there was that thing, mate. I went through a phase, probably kind of back end of the Jeffries era, where I was like, hopefully we do go down, because we kick up the arse. See it all the time with teams. They go down. In fact, it probably happened to us to an extent there. They end up finishing 4th the second season, back up into Europe, gives you that wee buzz. But I fear, man, because if we go down again, there's no novelty factor. There is no novelty factor about being back in that division. And the standards are just slipping all the time, and I don't think we can afford to go down. I know you never can, but I mean that in the most stringent ways. You've looked at I'm no good at the finances of it, man. There's some great posts on the forums and that, but I'm like, how can we be losing £750,000 every single year and survive?
Aye.
And if you're dropping down that division, man, because the crowds are not big. I thought when we went to the Championship there would be big crowds. I remember telling you that.
Yeah.
Like when the South will bring getting a few hundred, and Morton will bring 700 or 800, mate. They don't, mate. They bring 150, and it's bleak. And I feel the worst. I really do. Not just for this season, but going forward.
I think that spot on, and it's such a grim reality to be facing. But I can only base it as well on I'm not saying once we get down to the proper nitty gritty where it's like, right, now it's becoming like mathematically impossible that we stay up. Your attitude changes, but I'm just like, in years gone past, when I heard that the weekend, I would have been like getting raging. When it would have probably ruined my time away. Whereas I'm just at the stage that I'm like, honestly, like, and I hate to say that because we're on here and we're supposed to be talking us up, but I just doesn't nowhere at best we win a playoff. Like that's it. There's no way we come out the bottom 2 places. Called that a couple of weeks ago anyway, but for me, if it comes into a dogfight between us and Livy,
I wouldn't be fancying us, mate. No, in this state, that is all, of course, contingent on the fact we could bring 3 or 4 players in and it might make a difference. We're hoping McCann's got the contacts and he's got and there is a wee bit of wiggle room financially. We might get 3 or 4 out the door, which we've heard is happening. We've got half a chance if we're able to do that, and if the support can. I mean, I'm not coming on here and telling folk what to do and go to games if they don't want to go anywhere. I don't have a problem with that now, man. If it's 50-50 and you're like, you know, Kim, I'm actually not going to bother, I totally get that now, because there's nothing keeping you going other than blind loyalty and a desperation for it to turn around. But the next 10 days are so big for this football club, mate. If we can get 4 or 5 signings in the door that come in and help the spine of that team and a wee bit more creativity going forward, there's a chance. If we don't, there isn't. It's as simple as that. So it's just got to happen. I just don't see any other way. They've got to get 4 or 5 in the door. Simple as that.
No, I agreed with that.
So what about the obviously the big talking point? Brilliant goal for Thompson, beautiful technique. Dundee were all ours. They were by far the better side. Loads of nice football, possession, corners and chances and all that, miles ahead. Brilliant goal. the boy Hay scores a smashing finish, lovely goal was coming. In terms of the actual mix up at the end, who gets the blame? Who's in the Green Mile for that?
I think it's equal blame, to be honest. I think that you can see both. Of course, and Dees is certainly the guy that's been getting it tight all season, to be honest, and he'll know himself how the performances haven't been good, and one amongst many, because there's nobody that really gets pass marks, to be honest. But again, he's one of the senior players now and he's got to take responsibility. The frustrating thing that doesn't do him any favours is because he looks at Roos, looks in his direction, must see him coming out. But for me, my initial instinct is it's got to be the goalie's ball all day, every day of the week. But he's just in the door. But folk were saying that they actually thought as well that the goalie brought a bit of calmness before that. I don't know whether you've seen that or whatever. Whether there seemed to be
he didn't stand out to me one way or another. But that's his calling card now. That on his debut.
And for me, but again, I think that it's one that both of them will look back. And McCann initially mentions how the goalie obviously apologises, and then he goes on in a kind of afterthought to say, and Deezy or Robbie says the same. But to me, that looks like, well, it's the goalie that's owned that. And if McCann's mentioning that first and foremost, and instead because I think it's the whatever journalist that is that asked McCann about the goalie's mistake as opposed to what happens, and he's come out and said that, whereas he could have been like, well, no, and he'd not got to throw these under the bus either, but he could have said, it's a mix up between the two. But he goes, no, obviously the goalie's apologised for it.
Positives to take for Saturday, any at all?
No.
Well,
I mean, I suppose a goal worked for the training run.
And beautiful technique.
But again, even that, and that sums up, we kind of spoke about it yesterday. Again, wasn't there? But even to go up 1-0, fair enough. But this Thompson bowing and all that after his goal, and
it's too Instagrammy for me.
It doesn't sit well with me. And I even get back to it, and I actually don't have like John Jules. I think he's got something to offer. But I even recall when he equalised against Hibs, it was as if Ken would scored in the last minute to get something, or would won the game. The way the celebrations were, look at the difference when that guy Hay scores for Dundee. He's straight and it's a belter. Ken, he's not poked the ball in for 3 yards. He's smashed it into the top bag, but he's like, let's go, let's get back. Hunnell's the time to go. Whereas even things like Arnie sitting well with me, they just don't look like there's any great will to win there. That's no me saying that they don't, as if they're chucking it. I don't mean that at all.
That's one thing I will say, mate. I think they're all trying.
There's no doubt about that. But there's just not enough for me for the proper will to win. I can't see it.
Oh man. Right, so we're going to actually challenge you here, mate, because you never ever predict us to lose. Right, we've done however many 100 episodes now. You've never, regardless of whether we're playing FC Copenhagen or Brora Rangers, you never predict Kelly to get beat. You think we're going to get beaten Saturday at Fir Park?
The process of elimination, man. But obviously, but I've come on a foreign when we go to the likes of Parkhead that we've a worst record in history there anyway. We've won there twice in our entire history, and you still say I'll maybe get a point, but so you've got. I'm hoping we can have at least one player in before the end of the week, and that player's got to be a winger, because we need something different. We need a different outlet. We can't go out and start again with Thompson in one wing and Brad Lyons another.
No, that can't.
It's just
happen,
not working.
It can't happen. I've never seen Kelly at home like that against a Dundee level team where we never put a decent cross in. We just never. There's no passages of play. There was just no pace or real kind of intent about the full team. So flat. Right, what's it going to be on Saturday?
One each.
Jeez. Tell me what you're really thinking. Go on. Right, so what we'll do to lift the mood here, Callum, okay? Because that's part of our job here at Forever and Ever. Before we go into the questions, what I've done is, over the weekend, I have went across social media platforms, including KillyFC.com forums, and I've selected some sentences, paragraphs that people have used to describe Killy's performance on Saturday and recently. Right? I've removed all reference to Kilmarnock or football, but I've kept the rest.
Aye.
Right? What I've also done is I've went to IMDb and I've looked at the reviews for Mrs. Brown's Boys. Right? And I've removed any reference to the comedy or BBC or that.
How could them to say a bad word about Mrs. Brown's Boys?
Well,
it's probably the best comedy of the old generation.
Right, the reviews aren't very kind. Sorry if you enjoy it. Maybe it's up to you, but I'm just going with what the people are saying. Right, there'll be some folk maybe enjoying Kelly. What I've done is, so I've got 10 comments here. You need to tell me, is it Mrs. Brown's Boys or Kelly? Right, and this is for the people. Okay? You ready?
Well, I think so, aye.
Be challenge, right? And you can play along at home. Right. So, is this a review stroke commentary on either Mrs. Brown's Boys or Kilmarnock FC this season? It's badder than bad. Worse than ever, in fact. I don't really blame people for still watching it. Each to their own and all that. But if that's your idea of entertainment, you have the brain of an amoeba.
Billy Brown's Boys, man.
That's Mrs. Brown's Boys. Well done. An absolutely insipid, vapid, or vapid, I don't know the word, pathetic bunch of no-hopers.
Kelly.
That's Kelly. Well done, 2 for 2. Predictable, formulaic trash, and it seems to be getting worse every single week.
That's a toss-up. What I'm going to do is, because in my head I look for trends.
Right.
And I think that you're better than going A, B, A, B, A, B, so I'm going to go for Kilmarnock again there.
It's actually Mrs. Brown's Boys.
So you went back. So now it's in my head, and I think, no, the next one must be no jump. It's like the roulette table.
It's like diving for the penalty, isn't it? Right. Genuinely one of the most embarrassingly pathetic things that I've ever seen.
Kelly.
That's Kelly. Well done, mate. Really now plumbing the depths of abysmal dreariness. It's a train wreck in slow motion.
Kelly.
That's Mrs. Brown's Boys. Unlucky. This is probably my favourite one. Where the hell is their pride?
Mrs. Brown's Boys.
That's Kelly. Right. I might feel a bit better tomorrow, but after having watched that right now, I just feel totally depressed. I have no idea how anyone can be applauding that.
Well, this is where it comes into what the reaction was, whether there was happy clappers, but I'm more thinking what studio audience or whatever there. So Mrs. Brown's Boys.
That's Kelly. The worst thing that's ever existed, I'd say, ghastly, and I would disown anyone in my family who disagrees.
Well, Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Mrs. Brown's Boys.
It's got to be, aye.
Disturbing, disastrous, disappointing, sickening, pathetic, horrible, damaging, and vomit-inducing.
Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Mrs. Brown's Boys. And the last one, astonishingly bad, The Pits of the Earth.
Kelly.
And Kelly.
Aye,
well done, mate.
aye.
Aye, so there you go.
It's not a bad effort.
Not
to
a
be
bad
fair
wee,
there. But again, that's the thing. That's just what I think to compare it to, man.
And I'd like to thank my sponsors at Mrs. Brown's Boys this week for supporting Forever and Ever the Kelly Fans podcast. No, obviously our sponsors are Allied Surveyors, more namely Nick Davis, who is in recovery for his operation.
Well, he got his up.
He did. He was messaging me during the week, and he's back in action, mate.
Straight back to work?
No, he's not going to get back to his work, but he will be very, very soon. He's on the mend 100%. Look, nasty, man.
Aye.
The pictures they showed me. But aye, he's had his operation, so and he'll have missed the football and everything, so the world, the Lord works in mysterious ways. Nick's a good man.
One of the lucky few, man.
Absolutely, aye. So we thank Nick and all the work that they've done to help the podcast. So we're going to get a wee message from them right now, and we'll be back with all your questions from the forums and from X. Allied Surveyors have been carrying out home reports and valuations across Ayrshire and here in Kilmarnock for over 20 years. Lifelong Kelly fan and company director Nick Davis is here to help you if you want to get your home valued and sold. Alright, and again, thanks very much to Nick Davis at Allied Surveyors. If you're needing something surveyed or you're thinking about getting your home valued or sold, Nick is definitely your man. Brilliant Kelly fan, top guy. Please reach out and get in touch with him if you need to. Right, okay, let's go. We've got our questions here, and you've got the gripe of the week as well.
Aye, so that'll be on the Twitter.
You can get that across to me.
Aye.
Let me have a look here. Right, we'll go to the forums first, shall we? The KillyFC.com forums will call for questions for Cal. Barbino gets in touch, who's been a big supporter of the pod. Thank you so much. If you could sign one player from any other Premier League team in this window, who would it be and why?
Again, there's any wingers in the building will be. I think that the two that we're linked with, Alan Forrest and Finlay Curtis, would both drastically improve us. And don't care what MD says, I don't think that any two of them are particularly world beaters, but I think that getting some, anybody's better than nothing, and I don't mean that as a disservice to them. I think they're proven, well, Finlay Curtis is one that's got a bit of potential, and Forrest has shown that he can do it at this level again, one that makes sense. So just any wingers for me, because obviously you know what, if I was to, I would obviously be saying Braga for Hearts, but it's never going to happen.
Aye. For me it would be, again, it's so hard because I would take anybody almost at this stage.
Gogic.
Gogic, aye. I would definitely
Can
take
God
Gogic.
help him
can
now?
help him now, man. But somebody in the mould of, obviously I'm not thinking of these, but maybe somebody we come up with, like say like McGregor at Celtic, Shinnie at Aberdeen, somebody to play that role, centre of the park, kicking arses, keeping the football, setting the standards a bit. Somebody to that kind of level. Right, Bullet, go in touch, friend at pod. How alarming was that performance at the weekend? We've seen a semblance of effort and passes of decent play against Levy, but there was absolutely nothing against Dundee, who should have won by several more goals. Absolutely spot on, mate. Really, really was grim. Kerr Morton, watching back the first Dundee goal, how many of our team failed to put in a challenge? I counted 4. One was our captain, who proceeded to lambast Dackers for his part in the farce. So my question is, where is the leadership coming from in this on the park? And then East Coast Kelly also says, in terms of leadership, Lions and D's are weakest captain and vice captain in modern times, and that got a lot of greenies.
So again, that's shows you what folk think. We made a point at the beginning of the season, particularly when it came down to the captaincy, that I didn't think the Brad Lyons was the right decision for that. We done a deep dive on Brad Lyons in the Patreon as well, and I think I made my thoughts clear on that. That it's somebody that I think that is Ken has contributed to Kelly over the years. There's no doubt about that, and been a relatively good servant. But I think that some folk have it in their head that he's a better player than what he is. Looks like your eyes are burning through me then.
Does it, man? I'm just listening intently to you, as always, man.
I was like, I thought I'd said something there, man.
No.
But I was so I think that comes down to that. And again, the big thing for me is it's a different point altogether. Put a few of them in this category. They're going to be here next season.
No.
Lyons is your captain, and he's got to look out for himself. You know what I mean? He's a professional football player, but I'm like, to me, there's talk of Mayo going to Aberdeen.
That's right.
Be it the now or at the end of the season. I'm just like, and again, I'm not saying that they're no trying or that. I don't mean that at all. But I don't see the real will to win or to properly dig us out of this situation. I'm sorry to say that, and it's nothing that I take any pride in. Folk before went nuts about, and I heard contrary things about the dressing room under Tommy Wright towards the end, and the views of Dicker and Broadfoot. But from my understanding, that was actually, believe it or not, coming for a good place.
They were upset at the standards and how people weren't taking it seriously.
They were like, this club can't get down, and there was folk there that didn't really give a fuck. And I don't think that we've got that in our dressing room now. And that's not, again, to reiterate, I'm not suggesting for a second that nobody, but I just think they were lost big time.
Aye. So for me, I would have McKenzie in the team now. Probably playing the right 4 or something like that, just for that very reason, for somebody that gets it, for somebody who is Kelly through and through. And it's a sad state of affairs when you're at that stage. I don't mean in terms of McKenzie playing, but that you're clinging on to someone like that. But I would have McKenzie in the team now, because I think he's probably the best option of the right of 4 as it stands, and also for that very reason. And I'd give him the captain's armband too. Aye. That's how I feel about it. Right, Malky gets in touch. We couldn't get any sustained possession at all on Saturday, yet the 3 footballers that we have that can actually do this, whether you like them or not, are Polworth, Lowry and Brannan, but all 3 are unused subs. I like McCann and Dodge, but that worried me. Worst home performance I've seen from us probably since the playoff defeat. Never left a Kilmarnock game early in 139 years, but I did on Saturday. A big huffy bastard I was for most of the night. Question is, do you guys agree that at least one or more of these guys should have been introduced and not Rory or Tiffany? So getting Polworth, Lowry or Brannan on the park.
Well, I agree because of the setup. When I saw that Lyons and Thompson were playing either the wing, I think that works if you've maybe got somebody in the middle of the park you can carry, because they're there to maybe counteract that.
Yep.
But who was it? Watson and
Thompson. Jack Thompson
aye, so
in the middle. Aye.
Watson's all about the place, but Thompson's a sitter. Well, they're supposed to be, you know what I mean. So I can agree with that. I think that one of those 3 could have easily played.
Could have been in there. Alibaba got in touch and says, does P Monty, that's me, still think Dees is good?
Do you?
Do I think Robbie Dees is a good centre half? Yes.
Aye, but he's half the boil.
He's not playing well. I just think he's a guy who can he be your main centre half. I think he's a backup guy or somebody that's beside 1 or 2. I don't think for a minute, mate, see if we've got Joe Wright playing beside him or something like that, I think Robbie Dees looks 10-15% better already. So I'm no into hammering individuals because they're struggling, especially when I've seen things for Robbie Dees in the past. I don't want to hang him out to dry in the slightest, because I do think he's somebody else that's putting an effort, but no doubt about it, the boy is really, really struggling now, and it's no very nice to watch.
I think you've summarised it really well there, and I think that's, and we've kind of touched on it before, but that's exactly what's missing, is that we've now made a backbone out of guys that are decent enough, but at times average Premiership players, and again, we need
Yes.
them in the building, but I think that goes straight through to you're talking, well, the centre halves in general. Mail's been exposed big time. D's, Lyons, Watson doesn't look like the same player as well, but honestly I believe having 2 or 3 quality additions into that starting 11 lifts everybody
Changes
immediately,
everything,
and then the guys come onto a game.
Aye, probably. The curious case of George Stanger.
And then
Totally bombed it.
talk of him gone and all
Leaving,
that.
aye, some interest for down south or something really weird, man. Eric Daniel got in touch. Does anyone have any positives on why we can stay up this season? Anything? I'm usually glass half full, but I've thrown in the towel. A few weeks ago I felt we were maybe 3 or 4 new players away from making a game of it, with the new manager bounce. Fast forward and it feels like we're a whole team away. We can't even compete against Dundee at home. This one feels even more nailed on than the last time we get relegated. I just can't see any way we don't finish bottom. Hey, at least we've got a nice video from the board about how they'll learn from their mistakes.
Aye, the hostage video, man.
Aye, man, and it's so difficult to no be really, really down there now, because there's just very little to get a holiday. This is my positive, right? This is how I'll leave it. I'm hoping we're getting worse to get better, right?
Hitting rock bottom.
I'm hoping that McCann's got in there and went, right, we're getting back to real scratch here, and we're forgetting everything you've learned over the past 6 months, and that's going to take a month to seep through. Clutching at the straws here, and I'm hoping that there's 4 or 5 players on the way that might give us half a chance. That's where I'm at.
Because that's the thing that's so frustrating as well, because I don't know whether we've even got a question about McCann's post-match comments, but you're like, you know what he's doing, because he's not got to throw the players under the bus, but the same thing, you're a bit like, save some of the fans of bullshit, man. Like, call a spade a spade. Like, that was like pathetic. But, well, for what I've heard and looked at the stats and seen for the highlights, because I was away at the weekend, but I was like, for us to get overrun and dominated for Dundee, who is the team that we were on here last week saying, oh, if we can beat them well psychologically, Ken, we can maybe claw them back in. They're in a different stratosphere to us now, man.
Miles ahead, man. All the wine got in touch. It looked like a team that had given in, which is worrying when there's a new management team in the door. What's the opposite of a new manager bounce? A new manager thud?
Aye.
We seem to have had that. Mathematics, what kind of toothpaste do you use?
It's actually quite an interesting question,
right? Okay,
because I'm obviously Colgate kind of loyal,
right?
But the other week there, I bought Aquafresh, man.
Oh, aye.
And it reminded me of like the advert.
And they had like the 3 stripes.
Exactly.
Blue, white, and red.
Exactly.
Funny that, man.
Colgate loyal,
Interesting. How do you feel about that flag? So you're Aquafresh and into the flag.
Aye.
You are one weekend in Sunderland. And you've come back up the road with a different outlook in politics, mate.
Brown here with a skinhead next.
Shocking. Right, toothpaste. So we've got 2 types of toothpaste in my house, because my wife is
do
like,
you buy like actual like fancy like proper dental and all that?
Mel buys like Organet, whatever you're meant to have in toothpaste, just like organic toothpaste. Still minty, but it's doesn't hit
no minty fresh, man.
No, so she buys the old school, the kind of Council toothpaste for me.
For you,
Aquafresh, Colgate, whatever. Don't look at the tin, mate. Just shove a nigga up.
Aye.
Squirrel Humper gets in touch. One of the most famous names in KillyFC.com from history. What game do you think we're actually going to win? Can't see it on Saturday, going through sheer blind loyalty, no much else. Ibrox in a couple of weeks has me questioning my life choices already, but I can't not go. Listen, that's Higgy, obviously. Higgy and that band of people, right, who will go no matter what, are the folk that I start to feel really. It was like a wee bit like when we had that terrible away run under McInnes. I'm like, they folk keep going, man, and it actually makes me resent the club, because I'm like, you need to win for them now.
They don't deserve this.
No, and it's like they keep coming back. So when do you think we actually will win?
I don't look ahead anymore, to be honest.
No, just in general.
No, just living the past all the time, man.
Aye.
But well, we're not winning First Park, and we're not winning Ibrox. No, is it Rangers? Aye, is it Ibrox, isn't it?
Aye. Mm-hmm.
So 2 away games.
We've got Aberdeen at home as well.
Oh, in between. Aye, that's the.
There you go.
You've got to win the Aberdeen game.
Aye, Aberdeen.
You need 3 points for the 3 games, which is like again
Not
still not good enough anyway. But we need to stop the rot for somewhere.
So you reckon Aberdeen? Will we say that?
Aye.
Okay. And LH31 says, should Cal shave his beard? I firmly believe this is hindering us getting our elusive win. If you shave it, will you get a brick with its name and memory outside the club shop?
Well, it's a plausible theory to that, to be honest. But I just need to watch, because my beard grows in a weird way.
Right.
Then I look too like kind of jihadi thereafter. So,
Yeah,
so I don't want it to, because it just grows like down the way, man.
right,
And
cool, man.
so, whereas I would like it if it just grow out the way, but it doesn't do that. So I need to. So a shout out to Hard Luck Badbers, Marty Howard will look after you. Aye.
For taming the beast. Right, we'll go to the X now and we'll try to rattle through these because there's loads and loads. Christy Sykes, can we talk about something other than Kilmarnock Football Club? Full thing has been utterly depressing.
What do you want to talk about?
I've read 3 books
In your
since
life?
Christmas. Since Christmas.
Have you?
Aye, man.
What ones?
Autobiographies, but
Aye, who's?
still. Kathy Burke,
Right.
who was Kevin and Perry.
Aye.
And Nil by Mouth, with Ray Winston, phenomenal actress, director, beautiful writer and all.
Wait, what?
Nil by Mouth, you ever seen Nil by Mouth film?
No.
No.
I've heard of the anti-sectarian charity.
Aye.
But you said Ray Winston?
Aye.
So what he wrote this book?
No,
Wait, what?
she's in the film Nil by Mouth with Ray Winston.
Oh, Kathy Burke?
Aye.
Right. I thought you said just read.
No.
Ray Winston had a book called Nil by Mouth?
No, he was in the film with her.
Aye.
It's a brilliant film. She won the Cannes Film Festival. She won the Ballon d'Or, whatever the fuck
Hipster,
it is.
man.
So read her book, brilliant. Read Gazza's book.
Oh, but you sent me an extract for
Absolutely bonkers. The Raoul Moat stuff it needs to be read to be believed. And there's a bit in it where he's been out enjoying himself for 5 or 6 weeks, and his wine gums start talking to him, and that's when he thinks you're actually reading it like Gaza, man.
And that's it worked.
And it worked. Aye,
Aye.
sorted them out. And then I've read Mike Joyce for the Smiths book as well.
Aye.
So books.
Well done.
Books. Captain Conquer, what can I do this year to be better than I was last year? The gorgeous mutated squirrel.
Nothing. Standards are far too high.
You're the least of your worries, Conks, my brother. Both tributes on Saturday were beautiful to see. Very true. Wonderful minutes of applause before the game for Peter Orr, who sadly passed away, and then the 37th minute for Sandy. We managed to get that done too. And when he described that as a highlight, but it did reconnect me with what's important in a grim time. Everybody got involved with that, and it was a nice touch. So well done, everybody.
Well, David Hannah sent in a brilliant message about that.
Aye.
And it's like, again, got me back on board.
Aye.
With stuff like that, because again, it shows perspective and what this club really does mean to us when times are utterly trash, man. So again, we'll come on to David's message, but it was just really good. I was like, for fuck's sake, man.
Mm-hmm. Aye, he's brilliant at that.
Aye.
Gunnar Vance, the most gorgeous man in Europe, if not the world. If they were playing at the back door, I'd move out. That's me and Theo done for the foreseeable. I don't want to. I don't even know if I want to go back to Rugby Park. I'm embarrassed at the minute. Any suggestions for a Saturday with no football?
Well, if Gunnar Vance and Theo are packing that in, then that's a bad. They're everywhere, home and away, driving all the time, man. And so it's not even like the day out factor. No. I was to pass out with my mates all the time. Father and son going to the football all the time. You're like, if you're losing folk like that, club need to wake up. What we'll say is though, I think it was actually David Hamilton put a really good post in the forums about it. And he said that what he would say to folk is, and by everybody's choice whether to go or to no go or go to the games, but he said that he kind of lost a bit of himself when he stopped going through the Michael Johnson era, kind of not up any more stuff, and he just inevitably fell like the habit of going. But he's back now, but he's like, he just nothing will ever make him do that again.
Aye, well,
because even I found, well, I was going away from home all the time, but I remember thinking Saturday was easy to just kind of get with your mates and all that, instead you fall out the habit of actually going to the football. Aye,
that's the worry, that you do fall out the habit and then go and do something else.
I think you might enjoy and bring you joy.
Aye, but my honest suggestion to anybody listening to this: don't kid yourself. Just roll with the punches. It's utter shite. You're still going to go. Nah. We're all still going to go. You might miss 1 week, but we're back the next week anyway, whether we win, lose or draw. So just work through it. Take a big deep breath, take your box breathing, read Kathy Book's Burke. That was my Killer Ross moment there, wasn't it? Read Kathy Burke's book, because there's quite a lot of nice life advice in it as well.
Is there?
Aye, it's just a good book.
As good of advice as Paul Gascoigne's wine gums.
Listen to your wine gums when they're telling you to can the bevy for a couple of days. And just gear yourself out to it, right? Lindsay McIntyre, friend of the pod, says, so much shambles, so little time to discuss. Dark times are now. Fans are gone, players don't seem to care, and the management are struggling to steal the ship, feeling a bit lost with her team. Anyway, what about that Morocco penalty?
Oh, see, I just read the various group chats about this and never seen it until this morning.
So big stramash at the end of the AFCON final. Senegal take their players off for 15 minutes.
Was there all this talk though throughout that Morocco were getting preferential treatment
and the home
refs were
team and all that?
Like say South Korea.
Aye, that's right. And then that guy that plays for Real Madrid, Diaz, gets a penalty, tries to Panenka, misses, they get beaten penalties.
Do you think he deliberately done that?
Rough. Aye, lock him out, mate. Lock him out in Gazza's book. Right, the real boy that gets in touch, or Kathy Booksburg. Folk have actually been throwing it around, but is this actually the worst Kelly team you've ever seen? All time, it's probably not, because you've documented in the decades in the Patreon, etc. 70s and 80s were also awful, but been following for 20 years. It's the worst I've ever seen. It's the worst I've seen, I would say.
I just think when
I'm
you're
fairly comfortable with that.
There is, because the checkpoint is always the relegation season.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the goalies that got relegated.
Aye.
Genuinely. And again, Dicker and Broadfoot, well over the hill, end of their careers. Dicker couldn't move and end up. But you had Kyle Lafferty up top scoring goals every week. And then Burke playing.
Chris Burke was there.
Mitchie Pins come on again, man. And like, there was, you still had Mullenborough to spoil in that in the building. So when you're talking about sheer quality in that, it probably is the worst team I've ever seen.
David Hanna. Right, reflecting on the tributes to two departed Kelly fans on Saturday should remind us that football is about far more than the results in the park. It offers community through a common bond, friendship and memories that are precious. We may be down, but together we'll never be out.
Superb, innit?
Beautiful, mate, as ever, man. What a brilliant message and something to hang on to, man. Ali Niven, who was over at AC Milan watching Korean Daba, played centre half.
Aye, what a game to pick as well.
Game, I know, against AC Milan. I've not seen Saturday's game, just the lowlights with the Malays at the club stands. And team, do you think both that 4 or 5 signings will be enough with what we have in the dugout? And also with watching Ndaba cruise it in Serie A, what was McInnes thinking of playing him at centre midfield? It's 4 or 5 might not be enough, but it's the only chance.
Aye. I just to go back to last week, we've just let far too much time pass. We had really winnable fixtures, and now we're back into the tough games. And
it's got a minute. Mikey Kenmure says another woeful performance against a relegation rival who looked far better in every aspect. Worrying times, I fear. We are skint in relegation of certainty at this point. Where's the positivity coming from? I'm not going too fitted on the manager yet, but it's coming. Alan Agnew says gripe is sent in, so we'll read that out shortly, Alan. The full episode's been a bloody gripe tonight.
Tragic, isn't it,
man? Colin Brown says, should McCann be looking at changing club captains? Lyons looks off it, and Dees seems to want to scream at everyone around him. Who would you make as captain? I'd have Mackenzie's captain now, mate, until either we get other players in who can stand up to the mark, but Mackenzie would be my shout. I would change it now.
I am with you on that.
I would. They need to do something. And if it hurts folks' feelings, then
but
our feelings are hurt.
But that's saying if he's not coming out and calling a spade after how inept that performance was at the weekend, he's not got to change the captaincy.
No, he's
because
not.
Then folk will say, oh well, what message is that sending? But for me, I would get behind it because it would do that. But again, it's just but that would just fall into that narrative again that everything's gone wrong.
And you change the club captain midway through and all that. That will not happen, but I would be easy for me to say here. I can't even talk right, so it doesn't matter. Vicky Black got in touch. Glad he didn't go on Saturday and save my hard-earned cash. It's been a struggle to get my daughter to come along, and after that result, feels like I'll be a bad mum if I force her to go to the next home game. Worst Kelly team I've seen in 36 years as a fan, and Vicky's no the type of person that he did say that just after.
Well, and this is a concern, and it's like the kids, that the young folk know why to go to the football.
Taylor's no even bothered, I don't think, they're just mad considering how into it was.
Aye.
Ryan says tactical change at half time was strange unless Larson was injured. He went off at half time. Thompson at the back along with Dees. It's terrifying in the wrong way. He's a centre back, striker and 2 wingers minimum, and I would bring Cole Burke back from his loan. Stuart Little, apart from the disappointment of no cup run, could the lack of revenue by going out early have an impact on January signings? If Kelly had been playing Celtic, apart from it being shite, it would have made a bit of cash.
Well, that's a 6-figure sum you're talking easy on it. So
fair point, man. Absolutely right, Stuart.
But listen, that's a team that wrote off Scottish Cup semi-finals and that with the bagged his money. We can wait for Championship Inverness.
That's right. Alec Knox says, any news on whether Lewis Mayo's been put back together after being ripped to shreds on Saturday? Mayo got roasted and toasted, mate. It was not pleasant to watch.
So strange because I've been on here and probably been a bit more critical of Mayo. Again, no personally, just with regards to performance levels. But he's still somebody that usually I would always back in a one-on-one. Like his one-to-one defending's usually excellent.
I agree.
So for this guy, he must have had either the game of his life or Mayo had the worst game of his life. Or a combination of the two.
I was really struggling, man. It was awful. Callum McGee, I've resigned us now to the Championship. If you could have the feeling of scoring personally one Kilmarnock goal from the past, no trophy winning goals obviously, what would it be and why? Mine is McElroy to lead 1-0 at the Bernabeu, to go 3-2 in aggregate versus Real Madrid.
That's amazing.
So what Kelly goal would you score? Obviously no the Alston one or Paul Wrights or Van Turnett.
I'd go Williamson at Ibrox.
Aye, man.
Again, because even I could score for that range. You can't miss. But just seeing all the fans and everybody kenning at that point that you'd actually won, like because of you were well deep into injury time and there was just no way that you're conceding for that. That would be my pick.
Aye, that's a really good one actually. Really good. I would maybe quite like the idea of the ones in Europe. Must have been a good buzz to score at the home game against Bruges, because it was that big. Kent would have been brilliant if we'd got the penalty and scored it.
Aye, because
of the 2 minutes.
Because it was electric, wasn't it, man? And the place was going nuts, and we're just penalty right away, man.
That would have been sensational. So that one, that one would have been good. Chris Innes's goal out in Glenavon was brilliant.
Aye,
place was going nuts. One of them for me. Right, Con McGinley says Mayo, a player who needs to help himself. You would think after being skinned a few times by Dundee's bigger, he would have a think how to play him. If he's knocking it past you and leaving for dead, you need to get tighter. Be there to tackle as soon as he gets it. I can't give any football advice to Lewis Mayo, but
you were an accomplished left back.
I was back in the primary school days.
You and DT, man.
But it was the same thing every time. It was just getting the left winger was getting the ball, and he was just dropping it and knocking it by him 3 or 4 times. I'm like, I couldn't believe it just kept happening. It was painful, man. Scott Allison, is it time to give more under-19s a chance? Clearly we have so-called senior players who can't cut it. Thinking back to 97 when Williamson put in Burke and Bagan. Well, again, it still was that argument in it, and Burke and Bagan's a proven example that I have to wants to go back and reference, and rightly so. But for me, just to bring a bit of life about it, we've said so many times that, particularly with like loan signings and that, it's rather it was your own guys on the bench, unless that they're really coming in to lift the standards in the building. So you would love to think they would just like, Cole Burt's supposed to be one, but he's not really got a look in it. Queens, but yeah, any kind of attacking player that's young, I think should just have a place in the bench now to chuck on. Aye, a bit of bravery. Scott said, with the East Stand running out of pies before half time, Tivy came up and made that point to me. I thought he was coming out to more about the team. I seen his face. I'm like, Tivy's not happy. He's like, I can go on that podcast and tell me no pies at half time. Shocking. I'm like, well, true, mate. So you're not the only one, Scott. The fitness levels look awful, which was clear as Yugani and Danda were both running the show. Do you agree that there's no chance we're catching Dundee in the league? No way. We're not catching Dundee in the league, mate. It's never happening. Matt Robertson, why do things happen so slowly at our club? Time wasted in getting in the new manager, which is now compounded in the delays with adding players. Why do things happen so slowly? So fed up with it, man. Aye, it's passion. It is. Aye. Whereas there used to be a time before, and it's the part of the Ken January's a notoriously hard month to recruit and all that. But back in the day, I ken times change, but I just think in general our transfer business is woeful, man. He's been poor in it. Maury says, I wasn't fussed at Dale going, I didn't like the football, etc. But what a manager he must have been to make guys like Dees, Mayo and Lyons look like top level footballers. Aye, the McInnes one's, I'm not really ready to talk about that yet. Especially if he does win the league and Kelly get relegated. Like Dale can walk in water, man. Darren Steele, is there a feeling of acceptance coming from our fans regarding how bad we are? What's giving Darren that impression? I would say I've given up, fed up giving up my time to watch a group of players who aren't up for the fight. Tam Downey says, please can you talk about the Kelly women's team, their league position, and ignore the other team that played on Saturday, and who do I invoice to get my money back from the tickets I bought? Kelly ladies running riot again, man, doing it at Drawson this week. They get bumped obviously for Talbot and Celtic. They're going to get promoted, which is tremendous for the club. Aye, much needed. Obviously fell short the last couple of years, so maybe that's what we do. Maybe we find out when they've got a home game and we try and get like 1,500 in the grunt to support them. Just give us all a lift. Aye, absolutely. That'd be great, man. Greg Halbert, cheers for the rallying call last week to get to the cup game. Do I send the refund request straight to you, Monty? Aye, mate, I'll just square you up, man. I would say Dees absolutely needs dropped after that howler, but given Mayo's suspension, he will be starting on Saturday. What else can we do? I don't have the answer for you. Galak, whose facial expression at full time in the East Stand on Saturday will live with me for the remainder of my life. A man completely at peace with his pain. He's just like okay, fantasy time, because anyone thinking that team gets beyond 11th is in cuckoo land. Pick 2 players from the past that you would have in this team that you think they could drag the rest up.
Aye. And they say 3 if you include Eddie Beach in
Oh,
this.
also the X, or 3, but Eddie Beach has to be in goals. Right, so 2 players. Who are you having?
Gary Dicker.
Prime Gary Dicker.
Aye. Because again, it's easy to say, oh, Malumbu, Eremenko, and that. I'm thinking more reasonable, because I just thought like signing Gary Dicker like when we did was helped us that season big time. So if we're doing the same now, and don't know, man. Winger, pace.
Aye.
Jordan Jones.
Prime Jordan Jones. Prime Pascali would suit me too.
Well, it falls in the same mould as Dicker.
Aye, something like that.
What about you then? What else?
Dicker would have been in my thoughts. Somebody like prime Chris Burke to come in. At least you were maybe going to create a chance during the game.
Aye.
Would take Burke again. Prime Chris Boyd. Got a chance of scoring a goal with Boyd in the team, haven't you? James, how did it get as bad as this?
Well, I've said it. It all goes back to the summer.
All goes back to a bad summer, man. Callum says, from watching us go toe to toe with Copenhagen last season and making Dundee look like Real Madrid, that's some laugh. Aye, it is. Valley Exile says, we need a laugh, boys. We need you to cheer us up.
Boys in your court.
Well, I can't even talk, mate. Maybe the
you can. Just get on with it, man.
Aye, that's it. Hopefully we've raised a smile. Alan Bowie says, why do you think the standards have fallen so much? When's the next win happen? We've kind of talked about that, mate. And the last one's for Kevin. From the season kick-off, we've been needing better players. If they're thinking January will be a sticking plaster job, we're doomed. We need several ball players and fast. Brannan should be starting too. I don't know why Brannan's on the team, mate, but again, we'll go again on Saturday, and maybe Brannan will be in and I'd have McKenzie in there too, and maybe mix it up again up front, and maybe you bring Lowry back in to keep the ball. I don't bloody know. And the 3 signings that we're going to make on Thursday, they all start.
Because that thing, even thinking back, and seems like such a football manager / FIFA thing to do, but like when you end up playing Brad Lyons right mid, and it's not against Celtic or that,
for his,
I'm like, get Lyons back in the middle of the park, or play him right back or right wing back if he's going to 3, but just play Brannan out wide.
Aye.
Can at least he's.
He would get a crowd. He would get the crowd.
Pause in the box and all of that.
So
all the rest of it. So we've got obviously a few. We've got a message for Adam Lyon as well.
Adam Lyon, just want to say thanks to Sandy McCutcheon from Kelly Matchworn. Shirts for coming along to the Trust Club. Our members loved seeing him at his collection. For the Aberdeen game, we have none other than Jerome Varai, who's been highly requested by members. People should book ASAP to secure their place. We've also invested another £6,336 to pitch in, bringing the total investment from the Trust members to just over 86 grand. Sensational. I'm desperate to get along to that, actually. Sandy McCutcheon's a big friend of the podcast, was a huge help at Killycon. I'm no doubt about it, he'd have been brilliant value at that, so get along. And I met Adam's mum in Titch the other day.
Oh, did you?
And it was lovely to chat to
I met her
her
at the last trust thing I was at there, and really nice to meet her, man.
So that's class. So I get along to that hang up at the hotel. It is meant to be brilliant. I'm going to definitely do it. You've been, I know. I'll need to get along.
It's a great spot.
Cheers for the message for Dalen as well, who I spoke to at the game.
Unfortunately for you, man.
Oh no, come on.
That'll be Dalen for me.
Nah, he's kidding, Dalen. Right, and Alan Agnew, he's gripe of the week. Right, let's get into it. As Private Fraser always says, we're doomed. Big Dackers were on about like headless chicken. I know the goalie was in the door, but shout out loud, take it. Shout it's mine or leave it. Dees needs a rest, he's not playing. Some of these players need a hose up their arse. I blame the board for appointing Kettle Boyle, leaving us with these duds. I changed stance today, but there are a lot of moaning old duffers in there as well. I wonder where he went for.
He's Frank Beater Oil.
Oh, is he? So he went out at the east, maybe?
Aye, must have, aye.
It was maybe me that was moaning, mate. Sorry, the only one I gave pass marks to was Rory. There will be changes at the end, but not even Lazarus can help us. Is that a rapper or something? We need a miracle. In fact, play the under-19s. I'm writing this on Saturday, so I'm pissed off. I could crush a grape. Where do we go? I'm off to watch the snooker. The snooker was very good, mate. I was a wee bit upset that Higgins didn't win.
Higgins it?
He get beat, mate, in the final.
Aye.
Right, thanks for that, Al, man. The whole thing's been a gripe. Right, we'll leave it there, mate. We just need to try again on Saturday.
Back to the drawing board.
Back to
simple
the
as that.
bloody drawing board we go.
Give the medals for taking part, man.
Aye, well
Everything's
that's
all
it,
good.
mate. That's this generation. They're so entitled. Again, huge thanks to Nick at Allied Surveyors for their support, and thanks to you for listening and sharing and liking and leaving all the comments. We massively appreciate it. We're having a nice time still talking about Kelly, kinda. But if you want, if you want to join up to the Patreon, we'll do something with me light-hearted this week, I think, to try and lift the spirits. But aye, thank you so much, everybody. And it's always nice. Plenty of folk coming up and saying hello and all that, which I was really enjoy. Probably the best thing about it, now. And as David Hanna said, there's more to this club than the results, and we just need to remember that. It's about the community, it's about memories, about family, and it gives us all something that kind of unites us in times of quite troubled times, innit?
Right, put it mildly, man.
So, we've just got to keep going. Fucking nothing else for it. Right, mate, till next time.
Thank you for your company.
Kelly till I die. See you later, everybody.